Hello and welcome back to another video, my fellow commandants. About 8 months ago, give or take, as of the time of this video, I made a video on how to get started in punishing Grey Raven, what you should focus on, and how things work. However, over the course of the last year, and especially since entering the synchronization plan, things have changed quite a lot. So I've decided to update the guide to a brand new 2025 version, now with better audio quality, because my last one really sucked. Now, a few notes. Last time I spent what felt like too long going over very basic things like the Gacha system, so if there's something I barely touch on in this video and you think I should make a longer form video going over that particular topic, then let me know in the comment section down below. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I drop a new video or go live. With that, on to the video. Let's go over the basics of PGR. Your playable characters consist of constructs with varying ranks, with B rank being the starter characters, limited to only 3, a ton of A ranks, a bunch of S ranks, and all characters can reach higher ranks through shards and dupes, up to triple S+, which is expensive if they're initially an S rank character. The backbone of PGR is its combat, which revolves around important concepts. Basic attack, which is self-explanatory, dodge, which if timed correctly can trigger Matrix, temporarily slowing down time, signature move, which acts as your ultimate, and finally Signal Orb System, or as I like to call it, the Candy Crush Simulator, Dark Souls Edition. That name's terrible and I won't be calling it that again. Basic attacks generate orbs of 3 colors in a random sequence. Each color corresponds to a different ability. Pinging 2 orbs of the same color next to each other is called a 2-ping, and triggers a stronger version of the ability. Pinging 3 is called a 3-ping, and triggers the strongest version of the ability. Managing your orbs is an acquired skill that you'll get better at through practice. When you trigger Matrix, you'll notice that all your orbs are glowing. Any pinging you do in this state will count as a 3-ping, so it's best to do it on a single orb. All attacks fill up your energy gauge, so you can trigger your signature move, which is your strongest attack, usually. While most characters have these aspects in one way or another, what differentiates how you play them is their core passive. A core passive makes a character unique by making you play in a specific way, like pinging orbs in a specific order or interacting with a gauge or two. They're worth reading in the pause menu if they're not too long, otherwise it's best to search for a guide. Another thing to remember is that characters exist in a team of 3. Each member has a separate cooldown for Matrix, a separate orb reserve, and switch cooldown. Your goal is to usually use them up quickly and then switch to the next character, wash, rinse, repeat. There is also a QTE system which can be summarized as this. If you 3-ping the same color as the slot an off-field character is in, they'll glow and you can trigger an assist attack from them instead of switching to them. Now to build characters, you will need memories, weapons, and cubs, otherwise known as combat booster units. Memories vary from character to character, so make sure to check out a guide, especially from me if I have one, to know how to build a character specifically, or go to Grey Ravens for general purpose builds. Weapons are another integral part of characters, with signature weapons, aka 6-star weapons, being optimal. This is mainly because they have special resonances on them that can boost their abilities or help with orbs. Now, signature weapons are also the only weapons that can be harmonized, which gives an extra 2 memory slots of your choice on them. More on how to do that later. Finally, memories can be resonance and hypertuned, with resonance boosting a specific thing like basic attack, straight up attack boosts, or signature move boosts, etc., etc. Can be used to boost the stats and give extra damage. Quick tips on teams: there are different elements such as physical, fire, lightning, dark, ice, and my personal favorite, void. You want to build teams around the same element, with every team having 3 meta picks consisting of an attacker class, an amplifier class, and a tank class. The exception to this is the void team, with Luna Oblivion being an annihilator taking the place of the attacker role, and Ishmael Farthalion, who debuts on the patch following Shaper's Ripples, taking up the tank role. Support class acts as a budget A-rank replacement of amplifiers when you can't afford them. Besides elements, there's also a secondary aspect to build teams around, which is effects. This is mainly something to concern yourself with after you reach hero rank in Warzone. And finally, some older characters and some outdated characters have these things called leaps, which are upgrades given to them long after their initial release. Leaps are designed to buff outdated characters' stats or make them more fun. Now, I make guides pretty much for every leap that gets released, so go and check them out if you need help with a specific leap. Ah yes, the lifeblood of gacha games, gacha banners. Okay, to keep this simple if you're new, avoid fate banners at all costs. Those are only for gamblers. They have a higher chance of getting the character you're pulling for with a much higher pity, though even for whales, they're arguably still a scam. Themed event will feature the debut S-rank character or characters upon release with a 100% rate up. A rival banner acts as a rerun banner with 3 picks and gives you a 70% chance of getting the unit you're pulling for, and if you lose, you'll get one of the other 2 instead. And the next one is guaranteed. However, instead of using this, I recommend players use the blue ticket banner selector on the base Gacha banner. This will select an S-rank character from up to a certain point in previous patches with a 100% rate up. Keep that in mind as this is a one-time use and has a refresh upon the patch following Shaper's Ripples. The weapon banner has an 80% chance to get any weapon that you have selected, even upon debut, and if you do lose, the next one is guaranteed. The C.U.B banner is used to pull support units for constructs known as combat booster units, and they have a 100% rate up during debut patch and 80% following that. Finally, the Uniframe banner is used to pull special constructs, however it's typically recommended that players, especially newer ones, don't pull in this banner unless they like a unit specifically, since they're all outdated and only are used in limited modes such as Guild Simulated Siege. Combat booster units, otherwise known as C.U.Bs, are usually specific to their specific character, but you can swap them around at your own discretion. There are A-rank C.U.Bs and S-rank C.U.B, with S-ranks being useful signature C.U.Bs for their specified character. When it comes to a C.U.B, you only really need them to be S-rank, as that gives you all the skill slots you need to boost your damage. Now the first skill has 2 options. Since your C.U.Bs don't really deal damage, go with the quality of life option that usually groups up enemies or debuffs them in some form or another. The other 2 skills that you should worry about are going to be the C.U.B's joint attack skill that will usually boost your character's signature move, or core passive, or whatever their kit revolves around by a decent chunk, and the second highest priority is going to boost whatever character's specific element. Finally, if you go to double S, the third priority is going to be the active skill buff that gives an extra damage bonus when using your active skill, aka you hit the C.U.B button. Finally, the fourth priority is the skill that gives a flat attack buff. A lot, if not most players watching this video are new. Whether they are getting a head start on the upcoming Devil May Cry collab, or saw the game and thought it looked cool. Regardless of reason, like every gacha system, it has a level up system, with different things unlocking at different levels. When you first start out, your goal will be to reach Commandant level 80 as quickly as possible, though you will eventually hit some roadblocks. In this case, PGR has a guide system meant to function as a way for experienced players to help new players gain extra XP and level up a hell of a lot faster. Now, I recommend you find a reliable guide such as myself or even other veteran players. Just make sure that you're getting your XP. A lot of you will be familiar with dorm systems from other games, and PGR is no different. With this dorm system, you decorate rooms and use these decors to essentially power up your dorms into 3 stats: beauty, comfort, and utility. The higher these are, the happier your characters are and the more rewards you can get for them. Now, the main reason to do dorms is commissions. Doing these daily commissions literally requires 0 effort on your and rewards you a dorm currency. You can trade this dorm currency under the dorm shop and click on the dispatch shop. Now, your main priority is going to be the free S-rank character shards you see here. Your priority list for characters depends from player to player, but typically I recommend picking up Wanshi Lucid Dreamer, followed by Isla Kaleido, and then Elisa Echo, with the exception being if you plan to invest in your physical team before Ice and Void. The other thing you can buy here, if you've bought all the character shards already, is Hypertune Mats. That's right, while a very rare resource, it is indeed farmable purely from doing dailies. The guild tab is exactly what it looks like. It's a coalition of players. Now, higher level guilds may have strict requirements, with some guilds being exclusive to whales only, and some guilds wanting to rank high in Simulated Siege, meaning you have to hit a very certain score every week at minimum. Now, that's not every guild, but since we're on the topic, let's talk about Simulated Siege. Sim Siege is essentially the guild beating the ever-loving shit out of the boss in the middle and 2 other stages of their choice, while competing with each other and other guilds for the highest score. Now, up on screen, I'll have a picture of what I find to be, in my opinion, the best busts for solo and swap play respectively for whatever school you choose. Speaking of, at the bottom of the screen on the far right, you'll see Select School. This is where you can change those buffs. Now, on to the main reason you should care about guild. By going to the guild shop, you'll see your main interest right on the main screen. That's right, more Hypertune Mats. While you new players will have an abundance, just ask any veteran player how hard they are to come by sometimes. That said, this is just another place that you can farm them weekly. Let's talk about resources. The main stuff you need to build your constructs. Now you will have several options, and truthfully, only one of them is actually good, with another being an exception when you are low on a specific material. Simulated battlefield is what you will mainly concern yourself with. Here you do battle and obtain a special currency. Now while it used to be version specific, once you reach level 25, auto is permanently unlocked. In the simulation shop, you'll see you have 6-star memories, character shards, character and cub XP, overclock materials, etc, etc. Literally almost everything you need is in this shop, and it gives you the best deals. So once you have this unlocked, don't waste your time with the others, with one exception. Say you run out of a special material that you need to harmonize your character, which has happened to me before, as sometimes you may need to switch harmonizations, which will end up costing you extra special support tokens. Now if you're out of these, and Clash Reflection has yet to reset, more on Clash later, then by unlocking the last level of combat supply, you can grind out these special support tokens. Now while it's set to be replaced in the future and no longer exists on the CN server, co-op mode still exists on global, for now. You can use co-op mode to grind out 5-star weapon shards, and when co-op is replaced, it'll basically be the same thing from what I've been told. Meaning that even once co-op is gone, you'll still be able to grind out 5-star weapons for free at the cost of 0. So you're all caught up with PGR, or at least you think you are. There's more to do in this game than fight overpowered outer gods and whatever the hell short halt is. There's a multitude of endgame modes, both competitive and not, so I'm gonna list them out in their main purposes as fast as possible. First up is Clash Reflection. You can do this once every 2 weeks, and in return it gives you pulls and harmonization materials, like the special support tokens that I mentioned earlier in Harmony Accelerators. You use these mats to harmonize your weapons to get another 2-piece memory set on the character. Next up, Warzone. In Warzone, you complete a variety of stages featuring different elements. Use the right element and it gets a huge buff. Use the wrong one, it gets nerfed to hell and back. For hero rank and above, you also have the special option for a 3rd stage, which you can choose based on what's listed there. This will include the effect stages I've talked so much about in past character guides. Phantom Pancake has you violate bosses as fast as you can. The higher the score, the more pancake scars you get. Exchange these scars for character shards in the shop, with it costing 500 scars to get 30 shards. Once you have unlocked Ultimate PPC, you'll have access to Outlier Point. Beat all the bosses in there for extra scars that aren't gated to your weeklies. They're old bosses that won't appear again in PPC. Now, if your account is stacked and you're good enough, you'll unlock Intensive Battle if you hit 1.85 million, which has different elemental stages, and this is basically the ranked part of PPC now. I've talked and even made a guide on the past about the updated Norman Revival plan, but I'll do a quick once over here. Affectionately nicknamed by the community Norman Revival Pain, you beat these stages for rewards including Hypertune mats, weapon shards, black cards, and cub tickets. Not to mention the special resource Tantalum Ore, which you exchange for cub shards. Now if you want a guide on Norman Revival Plan, I've already made a guide in the past that I'll link in the description below. On to the one and done endgame modes. Stronghold occasionally gets updated and features unique challenges on each stage. You'll use 3 teams to clear each chapter, and you'll be rewarded with black cards and some other goodies, so make sure to do it. Mindscape Pack features Border and Sequence Pack inside, with Sequence Pack being locked until level 90. Could be wrong about the number, but it's in the 90s somewhere. Border Pack gives character buffs if you have their memories resonated. Sequence Pack will just give character stat increases, but for Hypertune memories only. A quick tip, Gen 1 struggle really hard in this mode, but Gen 2 and up will abuse the hell out of them. Golden Vortex features a stamina system like PPC, so use characters wisely. This actually has canon lore as well if you want to read it. Beating these stages and chapters will reward you with some goodies like black cards. Lightning and Thunder is basically Golden Vortex, but much more fun, and revolves around Team Cerberus. There's a shop where you can trade for whatever's in there, including event tickets. Lastly, the 4 alternative interpretations. These are roguelike modes, each having their own stories and giving their own rewards. Now, Cursed Waves, derived from Matrix, and Awakening Tundra are all pretty similar in how they function, while still being very different from each other. However, Recitativo di Fantasia functions much differently, and inside you can get the S-Rank Dark Amplifier Selena Capriccio, who is set to be powercraft very soon on Global as of the time of making this video. She'll be replaced by Lilith Demon Aces shortly, so obviously you can still do this mode, and you should for rewards, but it's not as high a priority like it used to be. Now eventually I'll have full guides going over Cursed Waves and Awakening Tundra, and I already have 2 guides for Derived from Matrix out on my channel, one for everything you need to know and one for endings, link in the description below. At the time of this video's release, PGR Global is in something we call the Synchronization Plan, which means that Global is receiving double or even triple patches, with rewards being temporarily boosted by 2 to 3 times to compensate. As such, when we finally catch up to CN, which won't be long now, expect changes as we go back to the normal 1 character per patch and normal rewards. Well everyone, that will do it for my guide on getting started in 2025 and punishing Grey Raven. I hope I covered all the important bits that you need to know, and if you still have questions, let me know in the comments down below, or see if I've already made a video on it in the past. If it's something I need to make a video on in the future, I will do such as well. Huge thanks to Literally Vera for helping me not miss anything super important in this video as well. With that, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I drop a new video or go live. I have a growing Discord where it's easiest to reach me, and a bunch of veteran players if you have any questions or just want to hang out with a super cool community. With that everyone, have a great rest of your day and I'll see you on the next one.